very special day in which we remember and honor our fallen heroes, those that are still missing in action. We must also honor those families whose veteran sons have not returned home. My name is Tony Acevedo, Vice Sheriff of the Corpus Christi Mayor's Committee for Veterans Affairs.
The flag of the United States Army. Please stand if you serve in the United States Army and remember those who fell in the field of battle and those who are missing in action and finally came home, and others are still waiting in foreign lands. Ladies and gentlemen, our United States Army veterans salute our POWs and MIA. And now the flag of the United States Marine Corps. If you serve in the Marines, please stand and be recognized for your service. And remember those Marines who were missing in action or were prisoners of war. Marine Corps. And now the flag of the United States Navy. If you serve in the Navy, please stand and be recognized for your service to our country and help us remember those who fell in the field of battle wearing the uniform of the United States Navy and those who were held prisoners of war or missing in action. And now the flag of the United States Air Force. If you serve in the Air Force, please stand and be recognized for your service to our country and help us remember those who fell in the field of battle wearing the uniform of the United States Air Force and those that were missing in action or held prisoners of war. The United States Coast Guard and Merchant Marine flags come out together. If you serve in the Coast Guard or Merchant Marines, please stand and help us remember those who were missing in action, or fell in the field of battle, or held prisoners of war. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker and I have been friends for a while. We met, I invited him to come to Corpus during the Tet Offensive anniversary. He attempted 11 times to escape from Vietnam. When I served in Vietnam, he was about 12 years old. Now let me tell you, you need to read his book, My Journey and Escape. This was a bright young man that on the final escape, he was the one, he had to put the motor together that was bought by someone in parts. Now think about that. He was able to learn how to, that gives you a timeline of how many attempts there were. If they had been caught in those other attempts, they would have been killed or sent to prison camp. When he finally escaped China Sea, they were picked up by a German ship. And of course, they took all those refugees to Germany. He wanted to come to the United States. But first, they went to some other locations in the Philippines. And he kept applying for the United States. And he would not give up. And he finally made it to the United States. The first thing he did when he got here was learn to speak English. Because he realized that he couldn't get anywhere unless he spoke English. Once he did that, the next thing he saw, the opportunity to join the United States Navy. He served in the Navy during the Gulf War, was injured. When we first met, his desire was to learn to play taps And so the teacher and me, the band director and me, we talked it over, and he's now playing taps in Houston at veterans ceremonies. Now in between there, with his GI Bill and his desire to excel, he attended school and graduated as a pharmacist. His title now is doctor, or pharmacist. He's a tremendous speaker, he has a tremendous story, and I wish I had the book with me this morning so you could see it. It's a great story of his journey in trying to escape to come to America. As a member of the boat people, he has stayed loyal to that, and he's probably one of the most patriotic veterans I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Dr. Du Ua, United States Navy veteran and a dear friend of all Vietnam veterans.
Thank you so much, Brother Romero Chavez. My distinguished guest, Vietnam Veteran Chapter of America, Brothers Romero Chavez, and all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Such an honor for me to have this opportunity to be here on this sacred ceremony. Good morning. It's just a glorious day for reflecting our heroes, for the present freedom of this grateful nation. Today, we must pay the ultimate tribute to our POWs, MIAs, with the deepest gratitude. Because of them, this land is still the land of the free and the home of the brave. My name is Dr. Du Hu. I'm from Vietnam. I was born in the war zone in the early 60s, and the darkest day in history in April 1975, that South Vietnam had fallen into the hand of the communists. We, the people of South Vietnam, have lost our country, lost our freedom, and many of us just knew that we must find a way to escape, just like millions of my desperate and fighting people who risked their life to escape the communist oppressions. I knew I wanted to follow the path that my brothers and sisters have been fighting for, the path of freedom. I was so fortunate and blessed. I finally made it to America. People like us who experienced the tyranny of communism knew very well freedom is not free. I would like to say this to my Vietnam veterans. My Vietnam veterans, thank you for showing me that you have so much humanity and kindness in your heart. And thank you for showing me that what freedom is all about. I knew I was so blessed to have a place to escape to. That place called the United States of America, the last stand on earth. We all cherish our freedom, and holding it dearly close to our hearts because of the supreme sacrifice of our men and women. The feeling of the great savior for freedom is truly in every American heart and soul, and we will never forget about protecting and defending this sweet and precious freedom. Once again, I follow the path of my brothers and sisters. I joined the United States Navy so that I could serve and give back to my great new motherland. I said thanks to my new motherland by serving her. But I could never thank her enough. She had more than 58,479 sons and daughters of the American officers gave the ultimate sacrifice in fighting the freedom of the Republic of South Vietnam. There were more than 662 American prisoners of war in the Vietnam War. How could we ever begin to imagine what our POWs went through? They courageously endured the worst cruel treatment from the communists of Vietnam, and many of them spent many years in the hell of the Hanoi Hilton. There are still more than 1,600 missing in actions just for the Vietnam War alone. Decades and decades have passed, but the agonies are still with their families from the time of World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and to these recent wars. Today, we get together here to honor their selflessness and their extreme sacrifice of their lives. They were imprisoned by their enemies and incarcerated, including beating, torture, starvation, and emotional and physical abuse. They lived and embraced themselves in darkness, loneliness, with no loved ones, families, or friends who live far away from the other side of the earth. They sustained themselves in isolation. They used every ounce of their energy to get themselves going, moment by moment, hours by hours, day by days, month by month, and then year by year, and survived in captivities and returned home with honor. It's astonishing to think that how our POWs kept themselves going. They gave it all to the faith of trusting in God, in their fellow prisoners, and in their country. And they demonstrated the faith that helped strengthening their belief that they would never be abandoned. They just knew how to retain and hold it tight to their goodwill. They engraved the definition of trust in their souls and gave their trusting hearts to the American people. There are two testaments of strength and characters among us. They are truly the symbol of the American spirit. They are the beacons of heroism that burns deeply in the soul of every one of us. They are the bravest of the brave. Today, we look up to the spacious, beautiful blue skies, and we see our heroes who are still missing in actions, and we whispered to their spirit. We should speak to their souls and let our hearts say thank you. Every one of these souls live in every one of us here today and forevermore. We must live for them, and we should make this to become the ultimate reality. Dear all my fellow Americans, please join me today to thank all those brave souls whose ultimate sacrifice have made the world a better place for all humanity. To all American veterans and families, thank you. You represent the American people who must refuse to live on our knees and be willing to die on our feet. Our fathers have founded our country upon the noble principle, liberty and justice for all. We are attaining peace by protecting and defending our freedom and liberty. Peace, freedom and liberty need to work together. Once, President Thomas Jefferson said, when people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Because of them, because of our brothers and sisters, we are still having the freedom and liberty here in America. Thank you. Thank you. My dear American people and all my beloved veterans, thank you for the great gift of freedom. And we will always remember our heroes. And we will never close the chapter of searching for our MIAs until all come home. May God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
You can see why we invite him. The Veterans Band just loves him. This is the third time that we brought him to Corpus to be a speaker, because he represents and brings us together and kind of gives us a welcome home by we give him a welcome home. And you can see the desire of people like Dua. Thank you very much for your kind words, your warm words, and at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're prepared to remember our POWs and MIAs with a table of remembrance. Young men and young women have always marched to distant lands. Our POW-MIA flag will be posted at the head of the table of remembrance. The hats and covers of the armed forces of the United States will be placed on the table of remembrance. The United States Army the United States Marine Corps, the United States Naval Forces, and the United States Air Force. This table represents our mission in action. This is a reality to all of us. From Corpus Christi, we're still missing. From the Vietnam War, William Nyder Decker, United States Navy, graduated from Ray High School, 1965. He used to carry groceries out at HEB on Alameda. He was one of our friends, neighbors, and classmates. And if we don't remember, who will? Daniel Jericho, United States Army. He attended Miller High School and Ray High School. He has not come home. Captain Barry Hilbrick, United States Army Green Beret, graduate of Mary Carroll High School, 1964. These are our neighbors and friends, and if we don't remember them, who will? Ricardo Garcia Martinez from Driscoll, Texas, United States Army. 70 family members and 17 of those who served with him came to Driscoll, Texas, Corpus Christi 3 years ago to honor him for his bravery of one of our neighbors. From the Korean War, we still have a few missing. Recently, there were some remains returned from North Korea. One of our band members' uncle may be in that batch. They were notified to stand by. The DNA is being done at this moment. That's Sergeant Lugo. Juan Lugo, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, today really represents family and friends. And if we don't remember, who will? All year you hear POW, MIA, POW, but when it comes time, do you remember them as real persons? Someday, they may come home. Let me tell you something that's happening just now as we speak. In 1966, 81 South Vietnamese airborne Rangers crashed in an American plane with four crew. They found the site. The communist government refused to bury the 81 soldiers, South Vietnamese airborne Rangers. So they were flown to Hawaii, where they have been there for 33 years. Finally, they're coming home. All 81 will be buried in California, in Little Saigon, as unknown soldiers from South Vietnam. They're coming home. We cannot forget, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the flag says. Never forgotten. But you know what? Unless you remember each day or at least once a year, you really don't understand the POW. They used to walk around here just like us. Our POWs, MIAs, we must never forget them. Because if we do, who will remember them? This small table is a table of remembrance. It is set for four. It represents the four services in time of war: the Army, the Marines, the Naval Forces, and the Air Force. This table symbolizes the members of our professional arms are missing from our midst. They who are not here, call them POWs, MIAs. We, you and I who stand here this morning, we call them brothers, fathers, uncles, neighbors, classmates, friends. They are unable to be with us, so we must remember them each day. This table is set for four. It's a small table symbolizing the prisoners alone against their prisoners. Remember, this table is white to symbolize the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember, the single rose displayed above symbolizes the families and loved ones who keep their faith awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase is symbolic of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breast of thousands of us who bear witness to the determination to demand a proper accounting of our mission. Remember those days? A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter faith. Remember, there is salt upon the bread plate to symbolize the family's tears as they wait and wait and wait. Remember. The glasses are inverted. They cannot toast with us this season. Remember. Remember all of you who serve with them, who call them comrades, who depend upon their mighty name and rely upon them. For surely they have not forgotten you.
I defended my country because I believe in my duty to love it, to protect its flag, to preserve its freedom, and to defend it against all enemies. For I am a POW, I am MIA. I spend lonely days and nights with fond memories of family and friends, of their smiling faces, their tears of sadness, their embraces of comfort, and of times in the past. I have endured pain, fear, and terror in places and conditions so inhumane to bear that I have gone where no man has gone alone. I gave my life of freedom to make my country a decent and safe place to live in. My beautiful America, my heart cries out for you. America, you are whom I suffered for, and all I ask is for you to remember me. You say I am not forgotten, and I say, bring me home. Our table of remembrance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we play taps, we honor those who have fallen in the field of battle with our American folded flag on the table of honor. This flag is folded once they come home in honor and surrender and present it to the family. Then it's hope. In the battlefield, our fallen heroes are honored by us with a battlefield cross. With a battlefield cross, Dennis. In January 1968, I witnessed one of these battle cross ceremonies in Vietnam. That represents us in the field of battle honoring our fallen friends and comrades. And now the table, is completed with a chair, the POWMI chair. No one sits in this chair until they all come home. The POWMI chair.
organizations